First Lite, Sitka, Kuiu, merino wool, scent blocking poly blends, heat retaining / moisture wicking but enhancing tactical gear. Didn't our grandfathers just hunt in wool pants and flannel shirts? What's up guys, it's Eric from Late to the Game Outdoors. Now before we dive into my particular kit, we gotta dig into the big question. Is high-end camo really worth the price? Listen, I spent years hunting in whatever clearance camo I could pull off the shelf at Sportsman's or Cabela's or wherever, and it worked fine. I mean, if I got wet, I was miserable. And I'm a guy who sweats a lot anyway, so I always smelled atrocious. So the basic stuff worked in that I was decently camouflaged and I wasn't naked, but that was about it. Now, I've been rocking head-to-toe First Lite the last year and a half or so, and it's been amazing. Every piece has held up beautifully, I've gotten soaked several times, and I've been able to dry the stuff out really quickly, and most of all, I've been able to stay comfortable enough in some pretty rough environments to stay out there and keep getting after it. Full disclaimer, I haven't exhaustively tried all the major players in the technical hunting game, so this won't be a full comparison of all the options. All that to say, I decided to go just all in on First Lite and their merino wool after some strong recommendations from hunters I respect. Seriously, I don't know how it works scientifically, but the odor resistance this stuff has is magic. My body will smell horrendous a few days into a hunt, but the base layer that I've been wearing day and night the entire time will have absolutely zero stink. It's incredible. Now, how much does your non-stinky clothing help mask your putrid BO as you stalk in on a deer or an elk? I don't know, probably not much, but it sure can't hurt, right? Maybe it buys you an extra second or two before they catch a whiff of your funk, and sometimes those couple seconds are the difference between a punch tag and a missed opportunity. But the real magic of all of this isn't just the lack of locker room smell, it's how comfortable this stuff can keep you in early season heat or a late season freeze. But if you're deciding to invest in some next level hunting garb, how do you pick which pieces to buy if you're trying to build a layering system that's going to work for you? I mean, if you just hop onto First Lite's page and start scrolling, there are dozens of pieces, from base layers to mid layers to outerwear and jackets, all with different warmth ratings. Some have hoods, some have zips. It's overwhelming. And at this price point, you don't want to just start buying stuff hoping it's going to work. So let's start at the top and work our way down for what has worked amazingly for me. Base layer, the Wick hoodie is their lightest weight base layer, and I wanted the long sleeves and the hood for sun protection. Look, I hunt the Arizona desert a lot, and while glassing at First Lite is just a beautiful thing, by 9 o'clock that sun is brutal. Or if you're hiking to a new spot during the afternoon lull in that 3 o'clock heat, I need a little something to keep the sun off my ears and neck. This super light hood does a great job of that without holding too much of your heat in, so I love it. Next in line, on top of that, is the Kiln quarter zip. This thing is deceptively warm for its lightweight, and the quarter zip just makes it that much easier to pull on over the Wick hoodie. And if I'm hiking to a glassing spot pre-dawn on a freezing morning, these two layers together keep me plenty warm enough without overheating or sweating a whole bunch, and I keep the puffy jacket in the pack so that I can add it once I get situated at the top of the hill. This thing is also money as an extra layer while sleeping on those nights where it just dips really cold. All right, moving on. I just mentioned it, but the final layer is the Uncompahgre? I don't know how to say it. I think it's named after a river in Colorado. Anyway, the puffy jacket. This thing is the lightest, warmest, most comfortable jacket I've ever put on. If I lived somewhere colder, I'd have one in every color and I'd wear it every day of the week. The real genius of this jacket is that it stuffs down into its own pocket, making it take up very little space in the pack, at a measly 20 ounces of added weight, by the way, and it's also an incredible backcountry pillow. It's not truly waterproof, but I've definitely ridden out multiple thunderstorms in this thing, and for the most part, the water just wicks off. I never got wet on the inside of the jacket. I have yet to try them, but they also make a zip-off puffy pant, which seems like it would be a dream come true when you arrive at your final freezing cold glassing destination. So, that is the top system. Let's head south of the border. The bottoms are really simple. I run the corrugate guide pants, which are literally the most comfortable pants I've ever worn. Honestly, they feel like pajama bottoms when you first put them on. They have a little bit of stretch and they flex in all the right places, but they're super lightweight. I've never had any chafing and they don't heat up too bad on those warm desert hikes. Honestly, my biggest concern when I first put them on was that they would never hold up to the brutal desert foliage that I tromp through all the time. But this one pair has been on me for nearly 2 years of busting brush in bear country, sticker bushes, all that nasty stuff. And there hasn't been a single tear. I can't recommend them highly enough. Now, when things get cold, underneath those pants I run the Kiln boot top bottom. It's the companion piece to the Kiln quarter zip I'm running up top. I've been sitting glassing with buddies on a blistery, sub-freezing morning where they had 5 or more layers up top, but both of them forgot anything warmer than the guide pants for the bottom. Their teeth were chattering all morning, they couldn't get warm. And I was sitting there with only these 3 layers up top, but my Kiln bottoms underneath the guide pants, and I was as comfortable as could be. Personally, I like the boot top fit because the socks come up to meet it, so there still isn't any exposed skin, but it prevents adding all the extra bulk of your thermal layer into the shaft of your boot, which has always bugged me for some reason. Now, I haven't had a chance to try them yet, but First Lite just came out with a zip-off version of a few of their mid to heavyweight base layers. Brilliant idea. No more spending 5 whole minutes taking off your boots, then your pants, then your base layer, then putting the whole thing back together. You just drop trowel, unzip and remove your thermal layer, pull your pants up, and you're back in business. That's the dream right there. The last part of the equation for me is socks, and I've been super happy with First Lite socks for the most part. Honestly, I was breaking in a pair of boots a couple years ago and I could not fix the hot spots that I kept developing. And as a last-ditch effort before just chucking the boots, I picked up a pair of these First Lite Mercury warm weather socks. Instantly the hot spots went away. So they fit great, they're padded in all the right places. I will say, as a desert rat, the Mercury is First Lite's attempt to help early season or warm weather hunters, but it feels like they were thinking more of early season Colorado elk hunting as like the warmest weather a dude might encounter, because they're still pretty dang thick and warm for some of our early season desert stuff. Honestly, it has to get down near freezing before I'm ready to move up to warmer socks, and I run an uninsulated boot. So if they'd add an ultralight Mercury, or name it something hotter than Mercury, that's maybe half as warm as these, they'd be perfect for the desert. When it does get colder, I'm running the Zero cold weather sock, and while it doesn't have the compression fit of the Mercury, it's extremely soft. It's comfortable, it's warm. In both cases, I only run the crew length sock, and it is plenty tall. It comes way over the shaft of the boot. It creates a few inches of overlap with my boot top thermal bottoms. They make over the calf options in most of their socks, but with as tall as these are, I would have to imagine those suckers are like knee-high stockings.
Hello, nurse.
Either way, they're great socks, they've lasted a long time. Yeah, you can't go wrong with them. Now, I typically run a little bit warmer than most of the people I hang out with. So if you tend to be on the cold side,
Harry! Your hands are freezing!
maybe instead of the Kiln, grab the Furnace line for your midweight layer. It's a slightly heavier and warmer merino. And I know we're talking about pretty expensive pieces, and the price point of the more technical, advanced hunting clothing is what kept me out of it for years. But now, having taken the plunge and experienced it, I can't imagine going back. Like, the stuff just works. And by mixing and matching just these few pieces, I can handle a blisteringly hot early bear hunt or a late season snowstorm if it blows in. If you still have any questions, go ahead and comment below and I'll try to get back to you quickly. You can subscribe right down here. For a review of the bow I've been shooting the past couple seasons, go ahead and click over there. And if you didn't know that Late to the Game has a podcast, you can check out an episode of the Hunting Stories podcast right over there. All right, stay warm. I'll see you guys next time.